Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 6:25 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Good morning, you guys. It is Monday. Hey, we made it. It's Monday the 7th of June, 2021. So here we are. Got some news items for you guys to check out, know about, and learn about before we get ready to go live here. As you know, we go live on YouTube and Facebook starting at 8 a.m. So without delay, let's get into this. So this week begins Aurora Museum Week. After celebrating virtually in 2020, this week promises to be more hands-on this year by offering an interactive tote bag for sale. The Aurora Museum Week tote will include bubbles, a coloring page, and a museum scavenger hunt. The tote, designed by local artist Chris Hodge, can be purchased for $10 from the Aurora Regional Fire Museum at 53 North Broadway from 5 to 8 p.m. during First Friday. The Aurora Museum Week participating museums include Blackberry Farm, Early Streets Museum, Aurora Regional Fire Museum, SciTech Hands-On Museum, and the Grand Army of the Republic Museum, David L. Pierce Art and History Center, Shingoth Center, and the William Tanner House Museum. Shouts out. For more information on downtown museums, visit the website of our friends at Aurora Downtown, which is auroradowntown.org. Our friends of Aurora Business United are having their second Friday networking meeting on Friday the 11th from 7:30 to 9 a.m. on Zoom and Facebook Live. In-person meetings may restart in July or August. There will be spin wheel prizes, and the guest speaker for the event is going to be Stephen Morris, author of The 6 Strengths to Maximize Your Business Execution. There is a registration link. You can find that on Facebook when we post it in the chat of today's news. Lastly, Saturday, June 19th, starting at 3:30 p.m. is the Freedom and Heritage Celebration, One Nation, presented by the African American Men of Unity. This will be held at Martin Luther King Park on Farnsworth and Grand on the east side. Admission is free. There will be food, a moon jump, face painting, vendors, and even a talent contest. That's awesome. Join the parade, and special shouts out and thank you to the African American Men of Unity, the African American Heritage Advisory Board, and the City of Aurora. Very, very cool. All right, so let's get ready to go live here. Remember, join us, Facebook and YouTube. Go live with the news, Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m., speaking truth to power. And that is the news. Good morning, my dear friends.
Good morning.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Thank you for sitting down with us today. It's very much appreciated. For our listeners and our viewers, let us know who you guys are and where you're from. We'll start with you, Denise.
Hi, my name is Denise Elsbree. I am a Aurora resident of 31 years. Almost exactly 31 years.
Okay.
Raised my kids here. And by profession, I'm a social worker and have worked in the Aurora area in a variety of different ways, doing social work kinds of things. But currently, my role and my focus is a program called Mental Health First Aid, which is one of the things we want to chat about today. Yep. And so here to really kind of promote what mental health first aid is, and specifically teen mental health first aid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yourself?
Hi, I'm Martin Luna, and I'm the founder of Simply Destiny. That started in memory of my niece, Destiny Oliva, who passed from suicide. And, we've been here 12 years, born and raised in Aurora, a graduate from East Aurora High School, so go Tomcats. But again, I love Aurora, been here my whole life, and I can't really imagine myself anywhere else. And helping the community and giving back, is what it's about.
That is what it's about. So since you've started that precedent already on the show, are you a Tomcat?
I am not.
Okay.
I did not graduate from any one of the Aurora high schools or in Aurora. And I will say, my two kids were Blackhawks, right? They were on the other side of
Yeah.
town. So we're representing
Definitely.
all of Aurora,
Right. We're downtown right now, so we can take some love for both sides. I asked that because we get a lot of East Aurora. Look at a lot of Tomcats on the show.
Can I say in my defense that
Certainly.
my first job in Aurora was working with the county school district office. And so I spent equal time in both East Aurora and West Aurora trying to keep young people in school. So I do have affection for
Honorary
both
Tomcat.
sides.
There we go.
All right.
Uh,
All right.
I used to wear a t-shirt.
All right.
So now, Teen Mental Health First Aid and Simply Destiny. Now, Simply Destiny is located, you guys are on Downer, is
Yes,
that correct?
We're actually not too far from here. We're at 122 West Downer Place.
Okay.
It's called the Legal Arts Building, and so yeah, we're in a really good space there. We've been there about a year and a half. Got another about 4 years to go, and we've taken done some construction, built it out, and to a way that it'll fit us and our kids.
Good. Very cool. All right. Now, what is the status right now in America or even in Aurora of mental health resources for teens and young people? Is it good? Does it need improvement? What's it, give us a feel.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's so often by community, what resources are available for young people, right? And so if we want to look nationally, certainly we know because of the pandemic that mental health for all of us, and particularly for young people, has been impacted. Prior to COVID, research shows us that about 1 in 5 young people will experience some kind of mental health challenge that will impact their life in some way over the course of their adolescence, right? So 1 in 5 young people over the course of their adolescence experiencing some kind of impact from a mental health challenge. It might be it's impacting my school, impacting my relationships, maybe to the point of needing some type of hospitalization, that kind of thing, right? We're really talking about the range. So with the impact of COVID and young people missing out on some of those really significant opportunities that happen in middle school and high school, the socialization, trying out, like, what does it mean to step more into the adult role of taking on more responsibilities or having a job?
Right.
All those things, young people have missed out on. And because we're still kind of coming out of that, we don't necessarily have research that gives us the data about that, but we do know, and we should anticipate, I think, that there will be impact for young people in an ongoing way as we start to move out of that. And it would be helpful for us now to think about, what do we need to do as we can now start to come together more? What do we need to do as a community, as adults, and how can we support our young people? Maybe let me just speak a little bit about the Aurora area, and I'll toss it to Marty, who can really talk more about the things that Simply Destiny does. But, I think in some ways Aurora is a rich community in terms of the resources that it provides to young people. I think the school districts in our area try to provide those resources, not only academically, but also for social services. It's like with anything else, though, what are the sort of financial resources that support those?
Right.
And so we do have, United Way, we've got the 708 funding streams and things like that. But often agencies are having to, continue to work to fundraise and support resources. So I've always loved the range of resources that are available in Aurora, and it's an and, right? And we could use more, right?
Exactly.
Like, let's have more, right? So I love it when there are organizations like Simply Destiny that provide, they're supporting the mental health of young people, but doing it in different kinds of ways to draw young people in to be actively engaged
Right.
in different things.
Now, how has it been with the pandemic? So for Simply Destiny, have you guys seen a rise in people reaching out to you because they're feeling challenges? I think there was data that showed nationwide that like, uh, some of the negative sides of being locked up in society were increasing because
Yes. Well, like Denise said, it's 1 in 5 that are affected, but Aurora has a lot of resources, and like everything and anything, there's always room for improvement. On with anyone and any agency. Since the pandemic, a rise. Yes, there's been a rise. I think that people are talking about it and noticing and talking about it as it being a rise, when I feel in actuality it's always been there. The difference is that with the pandemic, a lot of different agencies, schools, you know, and jobs, we're being able to see through Zoom and things like that, what someone's going through, you know. I think sometimes, a lot of times, kids go to school and you may label a kid a bad kid before you even ask what's wrong, you know, and that's the correct answer, or correct question, what's wrong or what's going on, you know. Wrong, I think, when they say, well, what's wrong with you, you automatically think now you're a problem, you're a problem child.
Right.
So asking what's going on, and now teachers and jobs being able to see what's going on in your home, you know, maybe not having the resources that one thinks, you know, that are available, and why don't they have them, you know, but they're dealing with a lot more, being stuck inside, the lack of social involvement with their peers and things like that. With Simply Destiny, a lot of people come in, and I would say that it's a lot of self-healing, because most kids will come in and say that no one understands what they're going through, or, you know, mom and dad don't get it, the schools don't get it, or, you know, my counselor doesn't come from where I come from, so she doesn't get it, you know. And when they're coming in and they're finding someone from their own community, and they realize that they're no longer alone, then they've made that bond, they've made that connection, they've made that friend that now they can sit with at school, they can talk about. And as they said, we do try to do it a little differently. We started dance because it's something me and my niece love to do. She loved dancing, I taught dance for many years, and I just wanted to engage the kids, and that's what I take pride in for our program, because we're not your typical like 9 to 5. You know, we're after hours, we're on the weekends, we're on Sundays. When the kids have that downtime and are bored, when they're having that time to question themselves and what they're doing or what's wrong, or it's that time where they're isolated because there's no school or anything open for them, and that's where we come in, you know. We have the art, we have the dance, we have in-house counseling, and not just that, they can walk into our studio not feeling labeled. When you go to school and you walk into the counselor's office, or you walk into an after school program for Gay Straight Alliance or whatever, you're walking into these clubs and you're automatically being labeled, or if you walk in there, you know, you're almost nervous on who's going to see you walk in or walk out. And with Simply Destiny, because we offer a wide, we offer just many choices of things that kids can get involved in, no one will know what you're going in for, you know, and I think that makes it a lot easier. They're not worried about it, you know. And maybe it's dance night, maybe it's art night, maybe it's cooking night, you know, maybe it's just group, you know, it's game night. We have, you know, we do First Fridays, we do teen nights for dance parties. So there's no one reason on one person walking through our doors, and I think it's helpful. And
you guys have been part of our news before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've shouted out different stuff.
Yeah.
It's been colorful.
But
that's a good thing.
As far as the rise, you know, that we're aware of, that people and families have come to us, knowing about this year, we know of 7 local suicides. The week of shutdown, there was a young person that passed from suicide in the area that affected directly about 6 of our teams from our studio. And on that night when it happened, we ended up doing a lock-in. You know, we brought the kids together, the parents of course know what's going on, and we sat down and we discussed and talked about what's going on, because we know that you're 6 times more likely to attempt after you know someone who's passed from suicide. We know that there's that ripple effect of 150, that, you know, that ripple that goes out from after someone passes from suicide. And then teens learning how to deal and talk with it. Teen mental health is very important, just like physical health. And it's a struggle just like physical health, you know. I have no muscles, so doing a push-up might be really hard for me, or is really hard for me, I should say, you know. But of course, after you build that, you know, that endurance and stuff, and you get stronger, it's the same way that we like to approach the mental health. You know, you deal with one problem, you learn how to deal with it, you learn how to cope with it, and then maybe for the next time you apply those same strategies to the next one, you know.
Which brings me. Wait, I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, I love what he just said.
That was-
That's awesome.
So you mentioned school,
Mhm.
right? And that brought me back to my own personal experience, and I'm thinking myself, you're right. You may have something going on at home, but if you have to go to the principal's office or you have to go see the counselor, then there is this unwritten, undeclared kind of covering, right? That
Yeah.
you're the bad kid or you're
Yeah.
going to that part of the building.
Mhm.
From your experiences, have you seen that change in education or the school systems recently or over the years, or is that still kind of the thing? I guess a better way to put it is the knowledge of mental health for young people making its way into schools and the administration and with counselors and things like that?
I think a lot better,
Mhm.
for the most part. I mean, like I said, and it's mostly because they've gotten that view into that person's house of what's going on. You know, you walk in school and you don't know what's going on in someone's home, but now you might see some chaos in the background. Maybe you see that their home doesn't look homey or home,
Because of
you know,
Zoom.
Because of
Yeah.
Zoom, you know. The rise on even DCFS cases and things like that has tripled 3 times. You know, it's this whole pandemic thing. Of course, has been a struggle for everybody, and how it's affecting everybody is differently. But being able to almost put yourself in that person's shoes, you know, I think, like I said, that's where it starts touching you. That's where people start taking it more real, because you don't know unless you know, unless you've been through it. I think it's almost like anything. We had one of our moms who recently, you know, had cancer and stuff, and so we did a fundraiser and stuff like that. And so, like, almost like that, when someone's dealing with something or needs help, you know, you sign up because it's affected you, your family, or a loved one. And you're like, you know, let me sign up and I'm going to raise money, I'm going to do all this. And now with mental health, I think that people are seeing that, like, hey, I have someone who's struggling, you know, and it's not just complaining, because that's what some people just kind of write it off. Oh, they're complaining, they're being dramatic,
Right.
no, they're struggling. And if we as adults can't handle that, you know, and we were asking our kids to deal with it, you know, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard as an adult. I mean, I don't know about you, but my life is not easy, you know.
Right.
But these teens have it, you know, so much harder. I mean, and they're constantly comparing themselves to other people, other things, and that's always been, I think, a problem. But I think in a time where, with all the social media apps, where we have all these followers, we have a lot of followers and not enough leaders. And
That's one of the questions that yeah.
You know, I think schools have worked over the last like 20-25 years to provide more resources in the school buildings, and because not every young person is gonna have the transportation, the finances,
Right.
the time in their family to get to, say, a counseling agency or something like that, even if it's available. So there are resources that are in the schools, and those work for many young people.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there might still be that young person that's like, nope, not going there, not gonna make that happen, which is the beauty of an organization like Simply Destiny that says like, hey, come and be a part of this social group here, right?
Right.
And be involved in this activity, whether that's dance or music or whatever that is. Come and join us here for that. And now you get this other piece that, and so it's using those activities to open the door a little bit to, and so both, I think, again, like, having a rich community means we have all of those things.
Right.
Having a community rich in resources means we do all of those things, and we don't say, well, we do it here so we don't need to do it there.
Yeah.
Let's do it all, right?
Right.
Let's create multiple avenues for young people to be connected with caring adults and to have opportunities to talk about the things that they might need to talk about.
So the question that I have next, kind of preempted by Martin, is social media helping or hindering? And the reason why I bring up the hindering or helping is because, I mean, we'll take Instagram for example. Like a lot of agencies who do work with mental health now, they have joined the social media world, so they're out there now. You know, they have a Facebook page and they're doing videos. But as you mentioned, maybe for a young person, it's the like battle, it's the popularity contest. So, you know, does it help or is it hindering the overall?
I think with everything, you gotta find that balance, you know, if you're staying on the phone all day and you're not learning how to really interact with people or talk or have that real conversation, then when someone asks you what's going on or what's wrong, then you don't know how to act or respond. And so it's good because I think, like with us and a lot of other great dancers out there, they're doing these dance challenges. They're doing, you know, challenges, you know, fitness challenges, or get outside and do this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to the right place to find the right help, it's going to help you. But if you just go there and you're not sure where to go, then just like in school and anything, you can be misled down the wrong. And that's what we talk about, you know, all these followers. Well, yeah, are you following someone because they're popular? Are they going to give you the right help? You know, because if not, then it's not going to help you. You know, mental health and everything, all the agencies that have come out, you know, they're putting a face on it. They're trying to make it more accessible to kids and know that it is okay, and it is, you know, and making it look, I don't want to say fun, but engaging, just so it's eye catching, you know, and just the same way we do it with dance. Come in for dance and this, you know. They're like, hey, look at this, you know, or there's this dance, join this, and then we're gonna send you information for this, and
Right.
you know. But then if you're on social media and all you're doing is comparing yourself from where you're at to someone else in anyone's life, that's not the way to live, you know. If you're constantly comparing yourself, you're always gonna feel less of a person, you know. I go into the schools and we teach dance, and for those who do know me, from way back when, I used to be 300 pounds, right? And I used to be a really big guy, and I hated the way I looked when I was dancing. But when I was dancing, I felt like I was in this whole other world. And so now when I go into schools and I tell the kids, I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but this is what awesome looks like, you know? And the kids crack up, especially the elementary ones, you know? And I said, but we're gonna get this, you know? We're gonna get you looking awesome, you know, where you're at. And I stopped comparing myself to other dancers. I stopped comparing myself to what, you know, I didn't like the way everything jiggled when I danced, but I loved the feeling of dancing, you know? And when I focused on that feeling rather than what I looked like, is when my life got a lot better.
When I focused on that feeling rather than what I looked like.
I think social media it's a tool, right? And the problem that we've had is that we haven't really, I think, taught young people how to use that tool.
Yes.
It just
We
came
said,
out of
like,
nowhere.
Here
Yeah.
you go. And
Because we're probably figuring out how to use it.
right, they know more than we do often, right? And we're learning from them. And so I totally agree with what Marty's saying about, like, again, it's this thing, and how do it can be a really important and helpful thing. Like, there's some amazing Instagram accounts that I follow that are like just encouraging, how do you have a conversation with someone who might be depressed, and
Right.
how do we talk about that, and how do we start that really awkward conversation? Or lots of things that are talking about different kinds of self-care and the importance of self-care.
Yes.
Well, right, like following those things, I love those things, right?
Mhm.
Like, I like to see those things. I like to look at dog and cat videos. That,
Right.
you know, like, that makes me feel good
Yes.
about that. And I also have to know, like, wait a minute, here's some other things that just aren't gonna be helpful for me to watch. But if we don't teach the skill of how to use those things,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be helpful.
Right.
Yeah, just like anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I think that you were a little bit reluctant to use the word fun when you
Yeah.
talked about your activities.
Well,
I think you should, because I think that's, and this is just in my own personal experience, being young and having troubles when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The reason why services, or even the people running the services, did not ultimately appealed to me as a young person was because it didn't look fun. There used to be I don't know if anyone can concur, but there used to be a kind of look towards social services and health and mental health.
Yeah.
It looked drab. It looked not fun.
It's a stigma.
Exactly.
It's a huge
It's a
stigma.
waiting room, Reader's Digest, and some overworked person who doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. In our past, let's call it. So we, one of our kids came to us and he was really upset one day because they were trying to put him in anger management classes, you know, at school, and he was upset, and you know, and I'm like, why are you upset? He's like, cause I don't have no anger issues. It doesn't. And he's like, I'm mad now because you know it took you know A B C D, and now I'm here, and now I'm mad, and you know, and I said, well, what bothers you about it? He's like, well, the name, like I'm not angry, I'm not an angry kid. I said, well, I get that. I said, but I go, what do you think it is that we do here? And he's like, well, we do this, and you know, you teach us how to cope and how to you know break things down. And I said, we call it emotional management, but really it's the same thing. I said, and you can call it whatever you want or whatever you need to tell yourself, as long as you're getting the help and getting what you need out of it. I said, but if you're just stuck on that name, which a lot of it, you know, anger management, it doesn't. Kids don't want to feel like they have a problem. Or
Right.
have to learn how to manage something. But emotional management is something everyone has to deal with on a daily basis. And I said, we're doing the same thing. And he stopped and he was just like, so it's the same thing? And I was like, same thing, bro. There's nothing. She's going to do the same thing we're doing here. It's just in school, you know? And when you talk to them and, like I said, you explain it, what the tools are for, or what they're doing, and what the benefit out of it is going to be for them, then they understand it. But like I said, that look, the words, they're outdated. A lot of the posters you see are outdated in the schools. You know,
They are.
Most of the kids laugh more at what the kids are wearing on the poster. They're not even looking at the message. They're just looking like, who would wear that? You know, and they're missing the whole thing, the whole picture of what we're really talking about. Because you know, and so for us, we said we want to make it fun. We try to make it fun, but we don't want to lose the message in it as well. You know, and it's a little bit harder because then you always get critique from people like, oh, you know, they're not really taking it serious, and sometimes life isn't serious, you know, and we forget these kids are kids,
Right.
and sometimes they're being too serious, and unfortunately in our area we have kids that are taking on responsibilities of being breadwinners and you know, or what you call it, just helping to pay the bills, or you know, to take their brothers and sisters to school, or things that we really shouldn't be putting on kids, but we have to. And then that's where the struggle comes in, that's where the trauma comes in from, because we have kids dealing with adult problems, still trying to be kids.
Yeah, my parents divorced when I was really young, and I spent like, you know, they would take me to court with them.
Yeah.
So I spent like my 4th grade and 5th grade like mostly in court or like lawyers' offices. And now I'm a parent, and I just use that experience to like, you know, it makes me proud that my son will never have to like, right? So it's making it's I guess in a way, it's taking trauma and trying to do something positive with it.
Yes.
So others can benefit. It's like I'm not swimming in this pool anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure nobody else even knows this. I'm gonna drive this riverbed up, kind of thing.
It just made me think, you know, I mean, we know that trauma is one of the most significant risk factors that
Right.
a young person that is, well, any of us, but a young person that has experienced trauma, which is can be very broadly defined, right? That the more trauma a young person has experienced, the more they have increased risk for developing mental health challenges or
Right.
experiencing other things. But I was listening to something the other day where, you know, so often we focus on this post-traumatic stress syndrome or post-traumatic stress disorder, but when you were just talking about your own experience, it made me think that in what I was listening to, they were talking about post-traumatic growth, right?
Oh.
That the trauma doesn't, so often I think we focus on the trauma and be like, oh, well, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's it. How about like thinking about, yes, that's there, and that's not the end of the story.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that you're trying to say with the kids at Simply Destiny is, yeah, these things may be true, and this isn't the end of the story. And that's the message that we're trying to say to young people. This is a point in time, and we're not trying to take away from what you're experiencing right now. And we want you to know that there's more, right? There's more to come, and there's growth that can happen.
Yeah, I am. So the question I led in with was what resources are available? Have they gotten better locally for young people and teens and mental health? And like I do believe that even if there's not even if there's not a body dedicated to teen mental, there are still going to be people.
Yes.
There's still going to be individuals who will do what they can to like plant that seed to just make the life of a young person or any young person better. And that's why I've shared some, like I said, you guys have been in our news role a bunch of times, and like we're happy to share your work and this conversation, because if any 12-year-old or 13-year-old, you should not be going, right? Like school should be a place where you're happy at.
Oh yeah.
Right? You shouldn't be dreading or not able to do your work or not able to focus because your mom can't pay the bills.
Yeah.
That should not be, your parents should be able to receive help, and you should be able to focus on being a productive young student. So as much as we can do to lift the burden off young people, I think that's, I'd like to help with that.
It's small things like that, like you shouldn't have to worry about. We get some kids sometimes that come in and just want something to eat, and our cupboards are packed with like ramen noodle soups and mac and cheese, and we have like just bread and sandwich meat and stuff like that. But that shouldn't be a worry for them, and parents are struggling as well. And some say they're struggling, some say they're not, and the kids are watching, wondering like, when can they're focusing like, okay, when can I get a job, or how old do I gotta be, or let me find side work, stuff like that. Really excited. It shouldn't be a young one's problem.
Yeah.
To deal with, and if they learn to focus on how to handle, how not to get there, learn some more life skills from different agencies, learn how to talk about it, and it really will grow them through what they're going through.
Chris, I like what you were saying about, like, again, it's all of our community kind of a thing, and so it is the social service community, but it's also, having a community that's rich in activities for young people to do, whether that's at the park district or the city funding different kinds of youth services, right? It's not only one thing, but it's this range of things. And again, creating that space so that all of the adults in our community have some skills. They're not all going to be like the social service experts,
right?
But have a certain level of skills about how to have conversations with young people, and that's what youth mental health first aid and teen mental health first aid are about. Is how do we have those conversations, and how can I, as an adult, maybe notice if something's going on for a young person and start that conversation with them,
right? And
support whatever is going to be most helpful for that young person.
So a question that I have for you is about social work. How has social work changed in your experience and career?
Let me just say, I'll give a shout out to social work, because when I got my social work degree, I wanted to be a therapist, right? Like a family therapist. And I've had opportunity to do counseling in the course of my career. But one of the things I love about social work is that it's a very varied profession. So there are many opportunities for that, right? And many opportunities for growth. And I've had an opportunity to do many of those things, which I love, right? Whether that's counseling, developing programs, supporting resources, thinking broadly, and so and social work is very active in social justice movements as well, and advocating for policies that are going to support young people in our community. One of our state senators that covers part of the Aurora area, Karina Villa, is a social worker, which
Shouts
I
out.
love that, right? Like, so we can, as social workers, we can be involved, you know, in the public policy and government as well, right? So there's just a really nice range for that.
Yeah, I've been, I have to tell you, I've been blessed with this show because I have people who reach out, you know, I feel my life is just taking like a different, you know, I told you about my experience as a young kid, but like I have friends now who like, they reach out to me if their kids are having problems. You know, like my one friend Tony, or my friend who has a son named Tony, oh, you know, Tony's doing kind of bad in school, can he hang with you for a little bit? That makes me feel extremely proud.
Yeah.
That makes me feel extremely proud. Comes in here, helps a brother work the camera.
Because we know that one of the most significant things for young people is to have one adult in their life that they know that cares about them.
Yep.
And it might be a teacher, it might be someone in school, it might be someone at Simply Destiny, it might be you here for your friend's son, right?
Yep.
Child who, like, that one adult that kind of says to that young person, hey, how's it going?
Right.
And consistently notices that about a young person and checks in with that young person. We talked about like the, you know, trauma being a really significant risk factor. We know that for young people, having an adult in their life, a consistent adult in their life that notices and cares about them is probably the most important protective factor, right? And
Right.
so as a community, we want to be a group of adults that are protective factors for young people. And that doesn't mean that we all have to be social workers.
Yeah.
Yay for social workers and counselors and other mental health people, and yay for all of the rest of us that can be protective factors in the relationships that we have through our families, our neighborhoods, other organizations that we participate in.
It takes a village.
It does.
Yes, that.
All right. So how can folks get in touch with yourselves to learn about what you're doing and find out about you? You guys got pages and social media pages?
So we have, Simply Destiny has a website,
Okay.
so simplydestiny.com or simplydestiny.org. Take you to the same page. We linked them together. We recently just updated our website, so I'm really, really excited and proud of it because it gives a lot of statistics. Has our calendars, monthly newsletters, things like that. A way for you to sign up for help, or you know, to come in for help, or volunteers, all those things. My cell phone number's on there as well, so it's our personal number. So we're not, you're getting sent to my, personal voicemail if I'm not answering, But if not, we're answering and you're talking to me, not someone else, not a waiting list for someone else to call you back.
That's a good thing,
And if not, like I said, we're open throughout the week, and we're open in the afternoons, we're open on Sundays, where most people are just like, you're open on Sunday? Like, we are, because we know that mental health does not have,
9 to 5.
9 to 5,
Right.
or, hours of operation only from this time to that. It is, those phone calls that we get at night, we're running around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, or, visiting a hospital, or whatever it takes, or trying to de-escalate situations at home, and that's what we want, is to really be there for our community.
And one of the new things that Simply Destiny is really bringing is this program called Youth Mental Health First Aid and Teen Mental Health First Aid. And those are classes that are for anybody, right? Either adults or teens, to teach them basic kind of set of skills about how to notice and how to have conversations about mental health, right? So the Youth Mental Health First Aid is for adults who interact with young people, and it kind of talks about how do we notice maybe if a young person might be experiencing some changes or some challenges, potential mental health challenges. noticing sooner rather than later, like not waiting until it's a crisis. And then we teach like a set of skills about how to listen, how to start those conversations, maybe how to give some reassurance, right?
Right.
Offer hope, and how to encourage the different types of help, whether that's the professional help, like the social workers, the counselors, and the self-help, being involved in organizations and things like that. So it's teaching the adults how to, those set of skills about how to approach and interact effectively with the young people that they connect with. And the teen mental health first aid program, which is a really new one. Simply Destiny is one of the first organizations actually in Aurora, in Illinois, to be able to offer this program. It's a program that's similar, but it's for the teens themselves. So it's for young people that are ages like sophomores through seniors in high school, because we know that often when a young person is experiencing distress, they're gonna tell another young person before they tell an adult, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so this teen mental health first aid program is a program for teens themselves to kind of say, hey, if you've noticed that in your friend, right? How can you be a friend? How can you listen? And how can you help get them connected with an adult, right?
Right.
You're not there to solve or fix that, your friend's problems.
You don't wanna take that on yourself.
No, but how can you get connected with an adult? And so we wanna teach the adults the skills to be helpful, and we wanna then also talk with the young people themselves about, hey, here's how to be a friend, and here are the adults that can be helpful in these circumstances.
Yeah, things have changed. Things have changed for the better. They really have.
The way we explain it to our dance buds, which are 6 to 12-year-olds, and then some of our teens, when they ask about the teen mental health, or the ones that are like, how can I get involved? And if they're not old enough, then of course they're not ready. But we tell them, the way I explain it to them, I go, think of these classes of kind of like when you're in, first grade or kindergarten, when the fire department comes in and they teach you how to stop, drop, and roll. Like that's what they want you to remember out of the whole thing. Stop, drop, and roll.
Right.
I go, they teach you about touching the door before it's too hot, not to go in. I go, it's the same thing. We want to make this plan on how to get you out of the house or out of the life or out of your problem safely. But if you have no guide, then bad things can happen. And the same with you. When taking smoke, it's going to be harder for you to breathe. It's going to be harder for you to handle, and not just yourself, but if you don't help yourself first, you can't help anybody else.
Amen to
you can't
that.
help get anyone else out of the fire.
Amen to that.
And Curtis, can I say, so
Sure.
This teen mental health first aid program is a new one. Youth mental health first aid has been around for a little bit. Simply Destiny has instructors for both of these classes. And we would love to be able to take those classes to your organization. So we're not saying like, hey, you have to come to Simply Destiny, right? Like, we have instructors that if there is an organization, and that could be another social service organization, it could be a faith community, right? It could be, I don't know, be creative. We can think about different organizations, but if as an organization you would like to offer either of those courses, we got the instructors, we are happy to come in and do that. And we have been fortunate to have received some funding from not only the 708 board in Aurora that actually helped fund some people to become qualified certified instructors of those programs, but several of the aldermen have also donated some funds to be able to support that. So Shakita Hartburns and Bill Donnell and
Shouts out.
and Bug, yes, shout out to all of them, provided some funding so that we are able to work with organizations on that.
Good.
So please reach out to Simply Destiny, because we would love to bring that out to communities. African American Men of Unity and Ricky Rogers, we're having a youth mental health first aid class for them in August when school gets started up.
Very good.
So yeah, let us know, reach out to us, and we would love to talk with you about that.
So without potentially, violating anyone's privacy or anything like that, can you give us a success story? Can you give us
Yeah.
can you,
We have a lot more success stories than people think. When people come into some predestined, I think, or when they hear about it, and we say suicide awareness, I think their mind automatically goes to like, oh, this program is about death. And what I tell everybody that we are so much more about life
Right.
and living. And we celebrate birthdays every month with the kids to make sure that they feel like they matter, they're important. But we have kids that, of course, that have graduated who didn't think they graduated, or that they would graduate. We have kids that have gone off to the militaries, the Marines, and come back and will come back and teach these, a dance class for us to our kids and do master classes. We have a group of kids that have started their own dance company here in Aurora as well, and doing things. And so there's a lot more success that's going on. But like I said, it takes a village, and it takes the resources, community people that want to come together to make it better. But I say come on in, stop by, and then you'll get to see the stories, and then you'll get to figure out what it's all about. Our webpage and even programs like this barely hit the tip of the iceberg of what we're doing. And social work is very much important. I still keep in contact with my social workers from East High, Elizabeth Cervantes, and if it wasn't for people or social workers, the men and women who do that, then it wouldn't be. And I'm sure they have a lot more success stories. And I like to think that I'm one of hers. So
okay.
all I'm doing is passing it on.
We'll call that the double shout out,
Yeah.
right?
Well, there was something that, so we do shine a light on suicide, right? And when I was in high school, Elizabeth Cervantes, for graduation, wrote me a graduation card. A small message with a little yellow piece of paper that had a flashlight on it. And I opened it up and I'm like, yeah, no money? No, but it had a flashlight, and I held it and I read the letter, and it said, in your darkest of times, remember you are the light, and that you can shine bright in all your darkness, and that message has stayed with me. I'm 37 years old, and I still have that little piece of paper, that flashlight that reminds me and reminds our kids to shine a light on things. And when you shine a light on things and you learn, you bring it to the forefront, and you learn how to talk about it, and you don't keep things looking like we said in the olden days, and we make it new. We're not recreating the wheel, we're just making it, a lot more modernized, a lot more, appealing to them and teaching them, and the success rates will go up.
That is, no, I concur, man. I have, so when I was sitting in all those offices and sitting in all those conference rooms in 4th grade and all that, National Geographic magazine was what I saturated myself with, because in the pages of National Geographic magazine, I could go from polar bears to learning about Mayan culture to learning about cuisine in Turkey. And I remember that this one lady was like, if you like them, take them. And I would just take National Geographic home. And in my house, I have a collection of National Geographic. And it makes me so happy when my son likes it too. Wow, we can read about polar bears. It's like it just comes full circle.
Yeah.
And I remember. So I know what you mean about like someone giving you something at a dark time and you keeping it.
Yeah.
It's really a good feeling.
It's
really
about
good
hope.
feeling. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
about hope.
And I think so often, like you say, we focus on
Just
the unhelpful
yeah.
things,
Mhm.
right? And one of the messages we want to give is that, right? Like, again, this isn't the end of the story. There's hope that's there, and so many people have hope and find those ways. And it's not like, oh, everything's going to be better tomorrow. That's not what hope is.
Yeah.
Sometimes hope is hard work, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that we have to persevere with it. But it's there, and there are people that
Hope could be a thought that you're thinking about.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I can, nah.
You're looking in the pages
right.
of the National
Like,
Geographic.
I can.
offer you
It's somewhere,
hope.
right? I can hear it, but I can't see it. It's all good though. Yep. Yep.
Exactly. And so that when we have people that are consistently there with us, saying like, yeah, come on,
Yeah.
I'm here. I got your back,
Mhm.
right? I'll walk with you a couple of steps.
You need someone to believe in you.
Yeah.
That's that.
You know, with dance and stuff, when we first started, you know, it was kind of weird. People were like, we teach dance for mental health, like that was kind of, you know, and when we teach dance, we teach the lead and follows, because I think that's life. There's times you're gonna have to lead, there's times you're gonna have to follow, and dance for everyone makes you feel very vulnerable. Something like, no, I don't dance, no, I can't do it. And like, yes, you can, like, you know.
Right.
And we do this dance called limbo, and at the end of the song's about 4 minutes long, but halfway through we break into a freestyle where we just make a circle, and everyone can join in. And I told him, like, I don't care if you just run through the circle and you just do this, whatever, but take your time. Be in that spotlight, I go, because too many times kids are walking through life or through the hallways feeling unseen, and this is your moment for us to see you, that you matter, that you know, that you have this, and there's that hope, and if you can do it in this small circle, you know, of people that are supporting you, imagine once you start believing in yourself and how much more you can go out and do with that, you know, and it helps, you know, we put them on the spot, we believe in you, we tell you you can do it, there's that person telling you we got your back, and that's what it is you need.
This was a lot of fun. This was a good conversation, man. I love this job. I love what I do. You answered the question pretty much of how can we, the community, help you? And I think you just mentioned get involved.
Yeah.
Just check out what you guys are. You know, you mentioned like we can see you and hear about it, but getting involved, coming out and learning is actually a better way to do it. And there are instructors available to meet with folks and go out to one's location and interact with people.
Yeah.
Right. So you could reach out to Simply Destiny, and one of us will follow up with you if you're interested in one of those mental health first aid classes. Yeah, that would probably be the easiest way, is to just send a message through the website, and we'll connect back up and set that up.
You can always stop in a Simply Destiny as well if you want more information. Tonight we have First Fridays in Aurora, so we'll be out there.
Oh yeah.
It's just an open house tonight. Again, just for information, stop in. You know, you get to see what it is that we offer. You get to see the space and not feel bombarded with so much or all the extra people and things that we have going on. So tonight's kind of like a chill night. Just get to walk through. And
Legal Arts Building.
Legal Arts
Walk
Building.
in the door, go to the right,
Yes.
up the little ramp.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah. I once walked through Simply Destiny, carrying something for somebody else, and went through. I saw it's big.
Yeah.
It is a big space.
So it used to be a church. It had some walls, had some ramps, had a stage. We took all of it out. We put in new flooring. We got our mirrors up. We have the lights. We like to party, you know.
Yeah. You guys are doing. I've been past there at night. This show actually, it started in my bathroom, but when I did get some initial money, I was recording in Gremlin.
Oh, okay.
So I was recording in Gremlin Studio for a long time, right next door to you guys. So I would see sometimes at night, like, stuff going on in there, and it was really active. I like that. All right. The show ends on a positive note.
Okay.
What is your message today for the people of Aurora?
You want to go first?
Sure.
I'll give me a minute to think.
So I want to say, I love being a part of this community, right? I didn't grow up here. And when I was pregnant with my first child, I moved here to Aurora because I wanted to raise my kids here in Aurora. And Aurora has a wealth of resources, and we can continue to support young people in our community, right? Through, again, we all have that space, right? That some of us might have the professional skills, but all of us can do something. We just really want to continue to make Aurora that space where, as adults, we're supporting young people, and we're offering them hope, right? About the possibilities of what life might be for them, right? So.
For me, I think same thing. It is about offering that positivity. Being born and raised here in Aurora, downtown was not a place my mother wanted us, you know. And as we see how much more beautiful that the city is becoming, and all the more things that are offered downtown, I don't want the kids or the youth of Aurora to be forgotten. You know, we have a lot of things going on here, a lot of art galleries, a lot of, you know, restaurants, things like that, and that's great. That is amazing to see those things come into town. But when we teach our kids and give our kids or youth a place to feel like they matter, they have a purpose, then they do more for the community, and they look for more to do. They want to feel a part of something, and I think that the biggest thing with Simply Destiny is making them feel a part of something, that they belong, that they have family. I mean, it's just like anything. You can join the gangs. Why? Because you want to feel like you're part of family. You know, you join clubs because you want to feel like you're a part of something. The football team, the basketball team, the everything team, and have those adults that are going to pat you on the back when you do good, tell you when you're doing wrong, show you how to fix it, and say, keep on going. And so today I think the biggest message is to say, keep on going, because life goes on with or without us, and we want to make sure that we just keep on moving.
This was a great episode. We appreciate your time for coming in to let us know about teen mental health, first aid, and Simply Destiny. On behalf of Good Morning Aurora, I want to say thank you to Denise, Elsbree, and Martin Luna. All of you guys out there, if you are in need or you know someone who is in the area of mental health awareness, please reach out to Simply Destiny. And with that, that's a wrap. Peace out.
Bye.